This time, I didn't try to persuade her to abort the baby. Because in my previous life, when my best friend and I went for a pregnancy checkup, we both discovered our unborn babies carried a malignant gene. The doctor advised us to terminate the pregnancies. I aborted mine right away. But my best friend hesitated. Out of kindness, I told her, "That child will ruin your life." She gritted her teeth and agreed. Later, her husband cheated on her. He even shamelessly said, "You couldn't give me a son, so why shouldn't someone else?" The mistress chimed in mockingly. "What's the point of living if you can't bear a son?" In the end, my best friend blamed me for everything. While I wasn't looking, she poisoned my drink. And that was how I died. Now, reborn, I'm back in that same hospital. Taylor, our babies both have the evil gene. Do you still want to keep yours? Rihanna's voice trembled with hesitation. Before I could answer, her mother-in-law barged in through the door. "Rihanna, I'm telling you, you must give birth to a grandson. If not, I'll make my son divorce you." From the doctor's explanation, she knew the baby might grow up violent or cruel. Rihanna looked at me pitifully. "Taylor, I really can't do this anymore. My first child is already big. I don't have the strength to raise another. Didn't you say you wanted a playmate for your son? Plans never keep up with changes." She muttered softly, her tone distant. Her mother-in-law glared at me. Trying to abort a boy? How heartless. I didn't want to deal with them. Just as I was about to leave, Rihanna grabbed my arm. "Taylor, are you really aborting just because of this?" I nodded firmly. Her face went pale. The doctor beside us looked at us with a sorrowful expression. "I still have to remind you. Both fetuses tested positive for the malignant gene." Her mother-in-law suddenly jumped up with joy. "Did you hear that, Rihanna? My grandson will be stronger than everyone else's." Rihanna forced a smile. Her mother-in-law took out a gold bracelet and slipped it onto her wrist. "You'll give birth to the future heir of our family." The fear on Rihanna's face disappeared, replaced by smug satisfaction. "Thank you, Mother. I'll definitely give you a son." She waved her wrist proudly in front of me. I didn't even look and walked out. But she followed me. "Taylor, you're too cruel. If your husband's family finds out you aborted, and that it was a boy, won't they destroy you?" I thought of my past life. After my abortion, my husband had been heartbroken. But he never blamed me. He gave me all his savings. And my mother-in-law treated me like her own daughter, cooking for me every day to nurse me back to health. "It won't be that bad," I said calmly. "I still have my son, don't I?" Rihanna's face twisted in anger. "So what if you have a son? You need to stay alive first." I slapped her. "Rihanna, if anything happens to my son, I'll come for you first." She covered her face, eyes burning with hatred. But I underestimated her malice. That night, my parents stormed into my house. "You damned girl! You dared to abort your baby? Let's see if I don't beat you to death." My mother raised her hand to slap me. But my husband blocked her. "Mom, what are you doing? Taylor's still in recovery. All this shouting will upset her." "Recovery? From what?" My mother spat. "No wonder my son didn't do well on his college exam. It's because of this wretched woman. You'll pay compensation. Buy a house and a car for my son. Or else." I was used to their insults. They'd always favored boys over girls. If I hadn't been top of my class and working part-time to survive, they would have sold me off long ago to the neighboring village for a dowry. Of course, Rihanna knew all this. She must have told my parents to come and cause trouble. "William already graduated college," I said coldly. "He failed because he never studied. Not because of me. You've taken plenty of money from me over the years. That's more than enough repayment." "You ungrateful brat," my mother screamed. "You'll give us that money whether you want to or not." "Don't worry," I sneered. "Someone will buy your precious son a house and a car soon. Just wait for the wedding gifts." They looked at each other in confusion. My father's face darkened. "Taylor, don't slander your brother. Go to his place and see for yourself," I said. Isn't he living with his boyfriend now? My father stormed off in silence. And my mother followed reluctantly. Taylor, my husband whispered later. Is your brother-in-law really into men? I nodded. If Rihanna didn't want me to live well, then she shouldn't blame me for fighting back. After my confinement period ended, Rihanna came over casually with a basket of fruit. Taylor, I heard your parents caused a scene. It's all my fault. I only told them because I was worried about you. I suddenly remembered. Every time I got a raise, my parents would show up demanding money. So this was her doing all along. She'd been feeding them information for years. I sighed softly, pretending to be heartbroken. Then you should compensate me. Let's say $10,000 for emotional damage. That's not too much, right? Rihanna froze, then forced a smile. Fine. She handed me a thick stack of cash. I took it without hesitation. Told my husband to wash the fruit. And treated her warmly. Taylor, you really don't take me seriously, do you? She had no idea. This time, I wasn't the same naive Taylor she once betrayed. Why would you give me spoiled fruit like this? There's no way you brought all of these. Rihanna's face flushed and paled as she heard that. I thought she would leave, but unexpectedly she came up with a shocking idea. Taylor, can you raise my son for me? You've raised a child before, you'll surely do better than I would. My husband and I both looked at each other, stunned and speechless. Rihanna was still lost in her delusion. Your son is already 6. He can go to a boarding primary school. That way, you and your husband can focus on raising my son entirely. I couldn't help interrupting her. What, you think you're a cuckoo bird? Just lay the egg and never raise it? That evil thing in your belly, listen. You and your husband should exercise and try to live a few more years. Rihanna was clearly furious. Taylor, I'm being kind to you. The fortune teller said my son is the reincarnation of a lucky star. I'm letting you raise him for free as a favor. Keep that luck for yourself. I'm done. In the end, she left reluctantly. 3 months later, Rihanna gave birth. I brought fruit to visit her. Taylor, look, my son is so fair and cute. Oh, what did you bring me? Oh, I forgot. I took out a square of red cloth with floral patterns. People say if a child has a few pieces of cloth like this, the household will be blessed. Don't thank me. That's what friends do. Taylor, you only gave me a torn scrap? Look, my grandfather even gave me $2. I scratched my head, puzzled. I remember when I gave birth you also gave me a piece of cloth. Are they the same? It's been more than 6 years. At least give me $12. What a lioness. Is your husband unemployed and short on money, Rihanna? A few days ago you wanted to dump your son on me. Are things that hard? Chris heard this and, ignoring the others in the ward, slapped Rihanna twice. You even want to give my child to someone else to raise? John would have beaten you to death before. I knew he had violent tendencies, but I didn't expect it to be that serious. I laughed it off to defuse the situation. If nothing else happened, I'd be relieved. Raising one child is headache enough. After escaping the scandal, I hurriedly left. When I got home, I found Rihanna had sent me a package. With my guard up, I stopped my mother-in-law from opening it and took the parcel outside. She didn't understand and thought I was being picky about clothes, so she insisted on not taking it out. Mother, Rihanna and her child are just acquaintances. I'm worried this might not be clean. At that moment my husband came in and saw us arguing. What's going on? Are you two arguing again? What a pity. Looks like it's all kids' clothes. Maybe just send it back to her. My mother-in-law's suggestion was quickly agreed to. In the end we returned everything intact. That evening while our family was out for a walk, suddenly a few police officers appeared and asked me to come to the station to cooperate with an investigation. I followed them in a daze. My husband and mother-in-law followed behind with our son. At the police station, Chris angrily wanted to charge at me, but my husband and the police stopped him. You bastard, how dare you hurt my son? What face do you have to live with? I was sure there was a misunderstanding. When did I ever harm his child? How could he accuse me without admitting it? Since the day my son had worn the clothes you sent, he broke out in chickenpox all over. I opened my eyes wide. This was sent by Rihanna. Our house didn't need extra clothes, so we had returned them. Chris of course didn't believe it and immediately grabbed his phone to confront Rihanna. Rihanna naturally didn't dare admit it and insisted it wasn't her, that it was me who did it. My head spun. If I hadn't been reborn and taken precautions against Rihanna, the one harmed would have been my son. This matter must be a big conspiracy, definitely a culprit behind it that needed to be found. Chris is a senior manager at a big company. Seeing my calm confidence, his suspicion eased somewhat. When Rihanna heard I wanted the police to thoroughly investigate, her voice suddenly rose. No need to make such a fuss. We're all friends. Let Taylor explain the truth. Chris saved face, hung up, and drove off. Back at my mother-in-law's house, she wiped away tears. Thank goodness Taylor is clever. If our John had chickenpox, I can't imagine what he'd suffer. I comforted her. This isn't your fault, it's Rihanna's. Over and over she framed and harmed me. Rihanna must pay this debt. Taylor, quickly come help me. My husband is about to beat me to death. I calmly ate my snack. Seeing I didn't respond, she cried even louder. Please, help me. Just give me $30 and he won't beat me anymore. Rihanna, do you really think I'm a fool to be toyed with? You told me to come to your house to get Chris to beat me. Didn't you? Rihanna became flustered. How could that be? Taylor, we're best friends in the world. Back when you were bullied at school I always protected you. And you, how could you, Rihanna? You're trying to harm my son. Hearing that, Rihanna stopped pretending. Yes, Taylor, I just can't stand to see you live better than me. What right do you have? Both of us were abandoned by our parents. Yet you live better than me? Then she suddenly thought of something. Now I'm like you. I also have a son. What's left for me to be inferior about? I hung up and ignored her crazed words. If you want to ruin someone completely, you first let them go mad with pride. Let her be smug for now. Very soon, she won't be laughing anymore. Rihanna, as usual, posted pictures of her child online. My son was born weighing 5 kilograms. Some sharp-eyed netizens noticed that the infant, though only a few months old, had a very cruel look in his eyes, and, even before he could talk, he was already scratching other people's heads wildly. After being criticized, Rihanna flew into a rage. So what if he's cruel? My son is cruel. The cruelty controversy, which had just died down, became a hot keyword again online. Rihanna didn't delete the video. Instead, she rode the wave and started live streaming to sell products. When people suggested she should protect herself, she cursed them all out. Social media buzzed and a boycott movement grew. The online uproar quickly exposed their family, and of course Chris's identity came to light too. Chris, as a senior manager at a large corporation, was inevitably implicated. Rihanna, apologize now or he'll be fired. But Rihanna, who had millions of followers, didn't care. Chris's $50 a year salary was nothing compared to the hundreds of thousands she could make a month through social media. Hearing how much she claimed to earn in a month, Chris's eyes filled with greed. Is it true you make that much? He asked. Rihanna showed him her bank balance and he was completely convinced. To support her work, he resolutely quit his job, went home, and also began live streaming. For a while they made a lot of money. They upgraded to a villa and luxury car and even took Chris's elderly mother to the hospital for cosmetic procedures. Taylor, now I have money and I'm prettier. Didn't expect that, did you? One day I'll trample you underfoot. Seeing I didn't respond, she went berserk again. You bitch, you're just jealous of me. My husband loves me, my mother-in-law dotes on me. My son is obedient, be jealous. Watching Rihanna and her husband dancing on the phone, I knew I'd finally found the right moment to make them pay dearly. At that point the media criticized the way they earned money from blood, calling it cruelty. In an instant Rihanna's livestream room was blocked by many users. The platform, wanting to maintain a healthy environment, banned their stream. Then netizens accused Rihanna of tax evasion. Chris understood what this meant, so he grabbed the money and ran. abandoning his mother. Rihanna had to take their child alone, sell off assets, and reluctantly pay the taxes, but having tasted the rich life, she couldn't go back to how things were before. So she came to me. Taylor, please, let my child and I stay with you. Rihanna stood at my door weeping pitifully. Neighbors peeked out. Reluctantly, I opened the door. Rihanna, what do you want? You're not bringing your son to me to raise, are you? Come on, get in. I blocked the doorway. Nah, didn't you hear? Chris ran off with the money. Rihanna, don't lie to me. Wasn't Chris at the Dongfang Mingzu villa? Rihanna couldn't believe it. She looked at me like I was lying. He's at the villa? I'll never forgive him. Seeing her, I grabbed my suitcase, took a taxi, and went to meet my husband for a trip abroad. When I returned home, I unexpectedly saw Rihanna and Chris together, but Chris looked pale and Rihanna's face was scarred. Taylor, you were right, I found him there. I was surprised. I hadn't expected my offhand comment to be true. Great, then don't ever talk to me about leaving your child with me again. You're stressing me out. Chris angrily grabbed Rihanna and beat her again. Rihanna didn't back down. If he hadn't conned me out of love and money, would we have to rent? She yelled. Watching them fight, I felt satisfied and closed the door. 4 years later, when Rihanna's son Tom started school, a preschooler from a wealthy family had her face scratched by him. Rihanna was summoned. After the parents negotiated, they paid only $5 in compensation and the matter was settled, but that was only the beginning. Tom had odd behaviors. Other children didn't want to play with him. He began to torment a stray cat the nursery had taken in. The teachers soon discovered his behavior and asked why he did it. Tom simply said he was curious to know what was inside the cat's body. Then he looked toward a pregnant teacher and said he wanted to use scissors to slice open her belly to see what was inside. The pregnant teacher was so terrified she immediately asked for leave. Rihanna was summoned again. This time Tom was expelled from the school. Helpless, she looked to John, who was about to go out the door. She slapped her thigh. Isn't there a babysitter ready? John, she urged, asking him to help raise his little brother. John frowned and tried to avoid it, but she grabbed his hand. Mother doesn't care. After all, we owe her. So John had to bring Tom home. This is your room, he said. Tom looked with envy at John's Lego-filled room and reached out. Those toys were John's treasures and he wouldn't let Tom touch them. While they wrestled, Tom fell to the floor. He didn't cry but laughed. If you don't beat me to death, I'll ruin your family. John had already heard from his mother that there was an evil child in the neighborhood. But he didn't expect him to be so antisocial. Get out, John said, pushing Tom away and baring his teeth as he frowned. What are you shouting for? My mom already said it. Once you're dead, everything here will belong to me. John stepped back, frightened. What are you going to do? No one knew when Tom had picked up a knife. Then just die already. Once you're dead, my family can finally live happily. A scream suddenly rang out from the room. I rushed in and opened the door. The scene before me was drenched in blood. Tom had cornered John against the wall. There was a clear knife wound on John's shoulder. I kicked Tom away, comforted my son, then called 120 and 110, emergency and police. Soon, nurses carried John downstairs and took him to the hospital for treatment. Rihanna, who had just finished cooking, heard the noise from below. She deliberately didn't move, muttering, "Why is it so noisy?" They even called 120. Could it be that my son really killed John? Then Taylor won't have a son anymore. After he dies, won't everything in that house belong to my son? Thinking this, Rihanna rushed downstairs to see the commotion. But she was stopped by police officers. Your son is suspected of intentional injury. Please come to the station to cooperate. I had wanted Rihanna to face the consequences herself. But I never expected Tom to actually hurt my son. Nah, are you okay? I know you're heartbroken. But you have to believe Tom, he didn't mean it. I looked at Rihanna's fake expression, grabbed her collar, and slapped her 20 times in a row. Rihanna, I told you. If you ever hurt my son, I'd take your life. Then do it, kill me, can you? I looked at her coldly. No. But someone will. At the police station, the once arrogant Tom now had tears and snot running down his face. Seeing Rihanna, he rushed forward. "Save me, Mom. Didn't you say if I killed that John kid, everything that old woman owned would be ours?" Rihanna's face went pale as she glanced at the police. She whispered, "Don't worry, son, everything will be fine. The child needs to be sent to a psychiatric hospital," the officer said. "Mom, I'm not sick. Tell them I'm not. You're the one who told me those things. You taught me." Hearing that, Rihanna panicked. She slapped him across the face. "You're the one who hurt him. What does that have to do with me?" Tom's eyes filled with hatred. Rihanna shuddered under his gaze. "You're the boy's guardian, right? Take him home, and keep him under control." Rihanna stood frozen on the spot. "Rihanna," I said coldly, "your retribution has arrived." Rihanna turned and grabbed me by the shoulders, shaking me violently. I shoved her hard, and she fell to the ground. Tom stepped forward, squinting as he smiled brightly. "Mom, let's go home." Later, Rihanna called me. "Taylor, please, help me. This child is a nightmare." "You were right back then. Having him only made my life worse." I knew Rihanna had become a broken version of herself. But it was already too late. "Rihanna, what are you talking about? When you decided to have the child, I never said a word against it." After hanging up, I knew it would be the last time I ever spoke to her. Not long after, Tom died. Rihanna was arrested. A downstairs neighbor had noticed red liquid dripping from above and, terrified, called the police. When they arrived, Tom was already dead. He had long grown to despise Rihanna and coldly let the police take him away. At the same time, the bodies of Chris and his mother were discovered hidden inside a wall. After psychiatric evaluation, Rihanna was diagnosed with schizophrenia. I went to the psychiatric hospital to visit her. "Rihanna, I came to tell you some good news." Rihanna's eyes flickered with a faint light. Tom wasn't born evil. The doctor back then misdiagnosed him. Upon hearing that, Rihanna broke down crying. She said she wanted to sue the doctor. But it was too late. Tom had already been declared dead. And the schizophrenia diagnosis was hers alone. "Rihanna," I said quietly, "your son died because of you." Rihanna looked at me in disbelief. "No, I didn't kill him. I loved him. Chris wanted to hurt him. I only helped him fight back. But he still died." I sighed, stood up, and turned to leave. "Taylor, did you come here just to mock me? I wanted to see if the person you used to be still exists," I said. "Now I see, she's long gone." Rihanna laughed, wild, unhinged, terrifying. "That's right, coming back to life once made me smarter. That stupid woman who once believed your words. She was tortured by Chris until she was barely human. My return was only to get revenge." I stared deeply at her. From that day on, to me, she was nothing more than a stranger.